Good afternoon. My name is Jim Conlan, and welcome to the latest episode of our entertainment show. As you know, in part 3 of our entertainment show each week, we premiere a new movie or TV series that is debuting in Ireland and the UK for this upcoming month. And up for discussion this week is a movie that's really inspired by the late artist Bob Ross. It's seen all across our cinema screens since April the 7th, last Friday here in Ireland. It stars Owen Wilson in the lead role as Carl Dargill, a sort of Vermont's #1 public television painter who's a larger-than-life character, I'd say, egotistical, believes that he is the prom, dare I say, and he's put in his place when a young, inspiring painter, dare I say, takes all his glory and leaves him in a quest to sort of find out what his life has no meaning without this sort of publicity or in terms of the spotlight it was taken away from him. It stars an all-star cast including Elizabeth Henry, who plays the character Bridget, Lusia Freyer, who plays Gemma, Sonia Dana Lopez, Wendi McLendon Covey, Stephen Rook, and our special guest this evening, the one and only Lusia Strus, who plays the character Beverly. And Lucia, first of all, the concept of this movie, there's a bit of sort of truth to it, because it's Britt McAdams' directorial sort of debut in this movie. She sort of based it on a sort of a screenplay that, dare I say...
Britt is a guy.
Oh, Britt.
Yeah.
Britt, apologies. Britt based it on a sort of a screenplay that, dare I say, that didn't really go down to sort of much claim, but the movie has really taken off and sort of blown up into proportions. And dare I say, Lucia, how did the opportunity come about for you to get involved in the project?
I was asked to audition, and that's what I did. And now, since the pandemic, we self-tape our auditions, and I read the entire script for this prior to the audition, which sometimes you don't have even time to do. They'll be like, we need it tomorrow, we need the tape tomorrow. I had a couple of days and I got the script and read it, and it is, to me, one of the funniest new scripts I have ever read. I was laughing out loud, and the tone of it is very funny and my kind of thing, dry, but like sort of low level, like very realistic, but sort of the circumstances are insane, but like you don't act like they're insane. And that's it. And I was cast and I got to go and play.
And did you know Owen Wilson was attached to the project when you sort of tried out for it? And did you mention about reading the sort of the play in general? Did you get a sort of vibe for what the Owen's character would be like? And was it very different then when you saw him with the perm and sort of done up the first sort of day and set? Do you think to yourself, why we're getting a sort of Ron Burgundy sort of look here?
I didn't know he was going to be in the wig and stuff. When I got to set the first time, I think for a costume fitting, wardrobe fitting, I saw Owen riding a bike just around set, not shooting, but he had the wig on and his faithful dog like running behind him. And my dog would never do that. And my dog was in the car and I was like, Ernie, that's the way a dog behaves. And my dog would just run away and go get his own job. And but I saw the Bob, like that wig, and I was like, huh. And as far as knowing who was in it, Michaela, she wrote me on Instagram because we had done a search party the same season. And so she wrote me and told me she was involved. And yeah, and yeah, she's a great woman, very cool, everybody was. I'm still in contact with everybody. I hit it off with particularly the women in the club, in the
Yeah. And Lucia, can you tell us a bit about your character, Beverly? Sort of what role does she play within the movie? Is she an art critic? Is she an art sort of lover? Is she sort of admiring attentions for Mr. Carl Dargle?
Well, everyone has slept with Carl at one time or another, usually in the back of his van. So I have at one point, but he's not interested in me at all anymore. But she's sort of hypersexualized, like she like I get to wind up with somebody at the end, but that's a surprise. But yeah, she's and
overstimulated, dare I say.
Yeah, she's overstimulated. She's and she's very dry. She just kind of just comments on things in a very dry way. And I had decided during it, I was like, give me a bag and to props. And I was like, put whatever you want in there. And my goal was to try to use everything they put in the bag in one scene or another. And so as a result, I was eating something at every point that I was on camera. So, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, they put a flask in there. So we get these mugs as gifts from the radio station. And I just ended up pulling the flask out and pouring booze into it. And actually that made a couple of actresses break. They just started laughing during the scene. And so we had to start again.
So you got free reign, dare I say, Lucia, in terms of improv. They sort of let you off and say, what will she come up with next, dare I say, on a daily basis?
I didn't improv lines because the script was brilliant, but Britt let me find Beverly. Britt let me kind of, like, at one point I'm going in to meet the person I'm starting to date, their parents, and I had gum in my mouth, and right before we get to the door, I just spit it out like 10 feet. And so every take I started to do that. And yeah, I had a great time. And Saratoga Springs in New York is beautiful too. So that's where we got to film. And but doing a movie during COVID is interesting too. Like, you're wearing face shields because you can't wear masks because of your makeup. So you're wearing these clear plastic face shields whenever you're not on on set, whenever you're not shooting. And I don't know, I think twice I put my coffee up to the face shield and forgot it was there, and like down my costume. And luckily they had, they were able to fix it, but twice I like ruined my wardrobe that way.
And what was the reaction now with the sort of the premiere? Obviously, it came out April the 7th here in Ireland, but the reaction in the USA as sort of well in terms of the screening. Did you go for a sort of a screening when it sort of came out? And what has the publicity been like? Are you sort of taken back from it?
There was a premiere in LA, and I live East Coast, so I didn't go because I had a responsibility, a commitment on the Sunday early afternoon after it. And it's something that I go in. There's a women's prison here in Jersey, and I go in and I work with the women, you know,
Okay,
so
fantastic.
yeah. And I had just started doing that, and gaining their trust in general is tough. And now that I have it, I can't, like, they are a priority, you know, so
Okay.
yeah, so that's what.
And Lucy, I know you, before we came on air, you mentioned about other projects that are in the pipeline in terms of the work. You might enlighten our audience. I do believe you're starring in a few episodes at the moment.
I'm guest starring in a show called The Other Two on HBO with Molly Shannon's in it, and she's been like an idol of mine. So it was really exciting to meet her. And it's very funny. I watched 2 episodes before I did the audition to get a feel for it. And as soon as I finished and sent my tape off, I ended up watching the whole season in one night. It's that funny and that good. And then there's an Audible series. It's like a detective show that I think it's 8 episodes or maybe 10, called Unlicensed, that Vulture magazine called it like one of the top things to listen to. And we got approved. We did the first season and we got approved by Audible for seasons 2 and 3. So I'm going to start working on that too. And yeah, there's a detective who kind of, and then has this partner, and I'm the detective called Lou, and it's very funny too, and has a lot of twists and turns. And
Yeah, fantastic. And Lusia Strus, now for the final 30 minutes, not 30 minutes actually, but for the final 30 seconds, Lusia Strus, I might turn it over to you now, and you might enlighten all our listeners, all our audience, why they should go out on their trains, planes, automobiles, bicycles, whatever mode of transport to get them into the cinema, sit down on their cinema seat, whether it be a recliner, have the Maltesers, the popcorn, the Pepsi, put their feet up, watch Paint. And what's in store for them, Lucia?
Well, Owen Wilson first. I mean, he's really funny in this, and the script is so good. And it's a very unique voice behind this movie, you know, and it's funny. It's really funny. And I think those are the main things. And I think all the actors created really unique, uh, weird, but real characters, you know? So.
And Lucia, all we need at the moment is a bit of laughter in our lives, dare I say. From me, Jim Conlan, to you, Lusia Strus, thanks for joining us this evening to talk about your role in Paint. We do wish you all the best in the upcoming projects, which we endeavour to see on our TV screens here in Ireland in the near future. But for the moment, from me, Jim Conlan, to you, Lusia Strus, stay safe, take care, and God bless.
Thank you so much.